Hey, what's up? This is TJ. Thanks for joining me. Today we're looking at the cool new Meris LVX, the modular delay pedals. Brand new, it's just coming out. And I'm going to do a little bit of a deep dive on it and give you some idea of the parameters and how it works and so forth. And some sound samples along the way. This thing is brand new. I just had it for a day. It's very, very deep, but it's built really well in that the user interface allows you to really get into it very, very quickly. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel, please do subscribe. Go to tjontheroad.com for more and hit that bell if you want to hear some more stuff coming forward. Let's get started. Alright, so let's take a quick deep dive into the user interface. What you're looking at right now here, this is the graphic view. You'll see the preset number and then the name of the preset above that. This is just a blank one. And these are kind of like bubble looking views per se. What you want to do is you can hit the encoder here. Okay, within the screen you'll see that there are a select, a actual parameter change, and then this changes where you are looking for in terms of the different bubble screens. So let's just go through these real quick. This is the globals. Alright, expression pedal, modifiers, looper, mix, modulate, pitch, filter, preamp, dynamics, delay. This is what's called the tactical view. It allows you to select different parameters all at once there. This is the system info, and now we're back to the global. So when you want to go to here, in terms of selecting that, it'll show you here in the upper right corner. All right, that you can do the editing, and it gives you the edit parameters, and you can just select through the different ones of the different available, and then this parameter is what is available to change. So this is the graphic view. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this. Alright, because you have to keep changing it all around and so forth to find where you want to go. But they do have, from a graphic view, they have a text view. So this is great. I like this much better because it gives you the ability to have all 6 knobs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, available for different changes. So again, this is the text view. And this is the graphic view. So we're going to work with the text view because it's a little easier for me to use, and I think it's probably the better way to look at it. The graphic view, kind of looks cool at first, but then you realize, probably I want to go with the other one. All right. So if you hit this again, though, this will take you back to the preset page, and it gives you a nice larger name. That's one of the other things that I like, and it's a little easier to read, in my opinion. All right. So let's hit this again. Go over to the actual delay page. Oops, here we go. And this is the standard delay. And you can see that it has a number of different parameters already listed in the one page. You have the type of delay. Okay, that's standard. I'm going to come back to that. You have a type per type of delay, in that this is a digital type. The bucket parade, the BBD, and you have the tape, magnetic, okay, that's what's available for that. You have the time, which you can set here, or you can do the tap tempo, and you can set the divisions of both the right and left channel. And then here you have the feedback amount. Coming over here, this is the cross feed between the channels. So if I turn that up, you'll hear cross feed between the two channels. Let's turn that up a little way. And then here is the modulation. Nice thing with the delay is that it has modulation on it that's separate from all the modifiers that are also available, and I'll show you a little later. Alright, so let's come back to here. Okay, I'm going to turn the, hold on a second, I'll turn this down here. Alright, and we're going to look at the different structures. There's a series delay. back. There is reverse. Poly. Multi-filter. Multi-tap. And back to the standard. Now I noticed that when I change that, it spills over. So that's really, really cool. It doesn't just cut it off for the next type. Alright, let's try, we're going to build a preset here. So as we go, so let's try the series. And you see as I do this, some of the parameters do change. So this gives you the divisions, the first repeat. So if I take this down to a quarter, say for example, and then I can also change the other divisions. Let's say, make that a dotted eighth and a dotted quarter. Alright, and then you can select the mix, you can select the modulation, make that just a little bit here. And it's very small. Hope you can see that. That's at 18%. Okay. So that gives you an idea how the delay parameters work. Let's move on to the dynamics type. Alright, so we're going to turn this on. Let's say, for example, we want to have a compressor. Okay, now one of the things first that you want to decide is the location of the compressor. Do you want that, you know, do you want that right at the point of which the pre effect is with the dry signal? You can put that there. You can put it in combination, just the pre. You can also put it in the feedback loop, which is cool. Or not so cool. Okay, or you can put it in post. Alright, we're going to put it in the pre-selection. Alright, you can set the attack, fast, medium, slow. Okay, the amount of gain, the ratio. Alright, and the release, and the amount of mix. And there's some other really cool dynamics here. There's this swell effect. And you can set the attack time for that. So if I want that really slow, that goes up to 1,000 milliseconds or 1 second. Alright, let me make it a little shorter so you can get it here. Hear it better, maybe? So that's the swell. There's a diffusion. That basically has a low-pass filter on it. I'm going to bring that down. Now what's great about that is, say for example, you can put it in the feedback loop. So that adds diffusion into your delay. put this back in the pre. There's a limiter. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's probably good for post. Alright, I'm going to leave it on the swell. Alright. So we're getting a nice sound. So let's move on here. This is a preamp. Alright, you have different types. There's a transistor. Let's see here. You can use the volume pedal, tube type, transistor, op amp, a drive, and a bit crusher. Alright, the tube type. There, raise the level a little bit. Not too much. Okay, and here's the gain amount. Let me turn that down and turn up the gain and see what that sounds like. That's kind of nice. The transistor. Again, turn up the gain and then the level a little bit. Alright, so these are very sensitive controls. Alright, the op amp. So that has some nice color. Alright, the drive, I'm not 200% liking the drive, but we'll see. Seems a little overdone. It has an extra parameter for the level and an extra parameter for the bass here. So if you want to roll that down, and the mid and the treble, or just the drive. I'll turn the gain up, see what that does. That's really rippy sounding. Alright, and then there's the bit crusher. For when you want to kill them all. Alright, let's put back the this is the op amp. I like the way that sounded. A very pleasing sound. Alright, so we're going to move on to the filter. You have several types of filters here. You have a ladder filter. For those who don't know what a ladder filter is, a ladder filter is a filter that was originally commonly found on Moog synthesizers. It's usually a 12 dB roll-off. It's known to have sort of warm qualities to it. There is a state variable filter. The idea behind the state variable filter is that it can go from a low pass filter to a band pass filter to a high pass filter. Originally found in Oppenheimer synthesizers very commonly. And it has a comb filter. Comb filters were actually originally, I believe, used in telephone systems. The idea is that it combs, throughout the spectrum, per se. If you look at it on an oscilloscope, it'll look like a comb, a bunch of notches. So that's why it's called a comb filter. And then there's a parametric filter, which actually is just basically a shelf, because there's only one actual frequency notch. All right, so let's go to the ladder. Or actually, let's go to the state variable filter. All right, now I'm going to put the location of that. I'm going to put that in the feedback loop, and I'm going to turn up the resonance. Okay. And you'll see that it's on bandpass, okay? And spread it what that's doing is that's filtering out the above and below, or it should be above and below, back and forth, depending on the way you see my hands, the actual frequency range of the delays when it goes through back the feedback. Alright, let's keep moving. This is the pitch. Okay, you can do several different types of pitch: microtune, monochroma, lo-fi. Let's go back here. There's a harmony, polychroma. Okay, now let's see. The polychroma, I believe, borrows from one of their other pedals. I believe the Hedra. Okay, and let's turn the mix on that up so you can hear it. And then you can change the pitch amount. Alright, let's try the harmony types. And this is really cool. You can select whether or not it's a scale, major scale, harmonic minor, all different types of scale types. Melodic minor, double harmonic, Lydian, so forth. Let's go back to the major scale. You can select it, the pre-location, and you have two different pitches. You have a third and a fifth. Okay, for pitch left, pitch right, or you can change that as you wish, and then you can select the key. Alright, you can also select a glide. Let's turn the glide on. I think that sounds cool. And put the mix. So when I play my C scale, alright, let's turn the mix up here. Kind of cool. There's a lot of obvious things with that that you can try. I think maybe you're having a difficulty hearing it because the filter is so in here. So I'm going to turn this back to a ladder filter. There you go. Now with the ladder filter, it's not as quite as filtered out, so you can hear some of the other things that I'm trying to do. That's interesting. It can do it polyphonically. Okay, so that's the pitch there. Alright, I'm going to turn the mix down on that just because I just want it to be, here we are, a nice effect. Alright. There we go. Now this is the coolest page, I think. This is the now this is the modulate page. This is where all of your, say, your chorus, your flanger, your cassette, your granularizations occurring. Okay, let's try the chorus. Okay, now I want to put the location in the beginning. Okay, and then we have some chorus. How about some flanger? Dynamic flanger. This one gets kind of wacky. That's a nice rich sound. They have this cassette, which is sort of like a cheap cassette type of sound. Has some interesting parameters. Has slip and crinkle, and you can set the lows and the highs percentages, so that's cool. They have a barber pole. And its granulation. I'm going to leave the granulation on, and I'm going to move it into the feedback loop. Got some really gritty sound. Alright. Let's see. Let's make the size a little smaller though. That's fun. Let's go back to something that's a little more easy to listen to. Let's just stick with the flanger. And I put that in the pre as opposed to the feedback loop. Reduce the feedback amount. Alright, that sounds nice. Let's move on. This is the mix page. You can mix the overall mix of the effect, and you can change the dry and wet trim. Alright, this is the looper page. Honestly, I'm not really a big looper person. It looks like it really works very well. I haven't tried this yet. The one thing I will say about the pedal is the space between the 4 foot switches here is pretty narrow. So I wouldn't think this necessarily be the easiest looper to use, but it's there. One of the great things though about this particular looper is that it's completely separate from the other pedal. Rest of the pedal, and that means that it's at the end of the chain. You can put the loop on there, and then you can change all the effects and then come back and actually do another loop over top of it. So that's really, really cool. Alright, now this is my favorite page. This is the modifiers. This is really worth the price of admission in my opinion. Okay, you have several different modifiers here. You have, they are LFOs, there's 2 of them, LFO A and LFO B. You have an envelope attack, okay, much like an envelope follower. You have a sample and hold modifier on its own, separate from the LFOs. Usually that's with the LFOs, but this actually has a separate one, so technically it's like a third one. Okay, and then you have a sequencer, which also is really, really cool. Alright, so let's explain this a little bit as simple as I can. Alright, so you have here LFO A. What is an LFO? LFO means low frequency oscillator, and basically what it means is it creates a waveform that can affect any other parameter. So the LFO is the source of the modulation, and you have to assign it to a destination. Alright, so you do that here. We can assign this to anything we want. Say, for example, probably the easiest thing for me to show you is the delay time. So now what it's doing is it has a triangle wave, okay, and it's affecting the delay time. And you can change the shape. So rather than a triangle wave, a pure type of sine wave. So it gives a little bit of a different response. Or a square wave. Okay, that sounds kind of crazy. Alright, there's a 3-step up. A 3-step down. And what that's doing is it's taking 3 steps and it's turning down the whatever is assigned. So it's assigned to the time, so it's reducing the time in 3 steps. 4-step up. 4-step down. Ramp up. So that's actually sort of like a saw wave, right? So saw, it goes up. How fast that works, it depends on your either tap tempo or the rate that you set. Alright, ramp down. Alright, and we're back to the triangle wave. Okay, so you might necessarily assign that to the time, okay, but see here it's also set to 100%. Right, so let's just say, for example, I want to create like a vibrato effect, okay? I might change the speed, so it's a little faster, say at 5K. That's a little crazy, but if I reduce the actual amount of the effect, so now what I've done is I've reduced the amount of which the LFO will affect the time. Alright, I created a nice vibrato effect. So that's really, really cool. And then you have these modifiers, okay, that are, you have LFOB, you can do it to another parameter, and again you have the attack and the sample and hold. Let's mess around with the sample and hold here just to give you an idea. I want to assign that to the filter. Alright, so we just keep going here. The filter, I want to assign it to the frequency. Alright. And I'm going to turn up the speed. Alright, I'm going to go back here and turn this off so you can hear this effect that I'm doing now. There we go. Alright, so I have this set to the filter. Alright, and I'm going to go back to the filter. And I'm going to turn up the resonance on the filter. Alright, this is the resonance. That's where the filter peaks at that frequency here. So now you can hear the filter jumping around a lot because it's on a sample and hold. So you see these are interconnected. The modifiers, the source of the modification, and then the destination, where it is assigned to. In this case, this was the sample and hold. Okay. Now let's go back to here. I'm going to say the envelope attack. Let's find something cool to assign that to. Alright. Let's assign it to the crossfeed, okay, of the delay. Now that should be subtle. It is. Let's make it a little longer in terms of time, but you should hear more crossfeed between the left and right channel as time goes on. Alright, let's what else we got here. So these are the modifiers. This is the step sequencer. Don't really have a lot of time in the video to go through all that, but the idea is that you can actually set a specified sequence. Okay? So that's really cool, and that's another separate thing. So you have all these different modifiers that are available. You have up to 16 steps. Alright, here you can assign the expression pedal to anything that you want. And again, we're back to the globals. So that's pretty much it. That's a quick run through of the Meris LVX. I really like the pedal. It has a lot to explore, particularly, again, as I said, with the modifiers and their relationship, to what sound that you're trying to get. Highly do recommend the text view. You can really get a better sense of what's going on with that over the graphic view, the bubble view, I guess you could call it. Definitely a lot of fun. I'm going to be exploring this a lot more. Thanks for watching the video. Check out tjontheroad.com for more and subscribe. I'll see you next time.